Hi, I'm Mike Hines, and my wife and I uh, live in Sun City, Arizona. Dolores and I have known Pam and Brad for many, many years. In fact, Brad and Pam and a young man named Bruce Reed all showed up at the church we served in Great Bend, Kansas, while they were attending Barton County Community Junior College. And while they were part of our congregational family, I baptized both Pam and Brad and Bruce, if I remember correctly. And they began their walk with Christ as part of our family at Community Christian Church. Uh, while they were attending Barton County Community Junior College, I tried to interest them in going to Bible college, and about the time they were getting ready to graduate from college in Great Bend, uh, Brad and Pam and Bruce and Patty Stricker, a young lady in the congregation, and I all took a road trip to Norfolk, Nebraska, where we visited Nebraska Christian College. All four of them decided that that's where they wanted to go to school, and so all of them enrolled at Nebraska Christian College. In 1976, Brad and Pam and Bruce graduated from NCC, and I had the privilege of going back and graduating with them since I had finished up some work for a Bachelor of Theology degree at Intermountain Bible College. It's been a pleasure to watch Brad in the ministry over the years. We worked with them in a revival, if I remember correctly, in Fontana, and visited them in their home in Paola. In fact, the pictures that I provided were taken at their home in Paola. But Brad has had some excellent ministries, both at Fontana and there at Crossroads. And it's been a joy to watch and see how that ministry has matured and really been a blessing, I'm sure, to those around them. So, Brad, we want to congratulate you on your retirement. It just doesn't seem possible that many years have passed, that you're coming to this point in your life. But we want to congratulate you and Pam as well, and just pray for you to continue work and ministry in some fashion over the next years that follow, that you'll have a great retirement, but that you'll also always serve the Lord Jesus Christ. So blessings and hope for the best for the future for you.
Hi, I'm Steve Seahorn. Most recently, I ministered with the Rolling Hills Christian Church in Topeka, Kansas for the last 35 years, prior to retiring about a year and a half ago. I met Brad Fogo, as I recall anyway, best of my recollection, at a Kansas ministers retreat at the luxurious resort of King Solomon Camp near Abilene. He had recently at that time begun ministry, as I remember, with a small church in Fontana. I had no idea where Fontana was, although I acted like I did so that he wouldn't know that I wasn't very smart. After several years, Brad received the opportunity to join the staff here at Crossroads Christian Church. And I must say, I was a bit jealous, but it was a good fit for both parties, and Brad's ministry and influence has flourished. Brad's been a good friend over the years, not just to me, but to a lot of guys, a lot of people. And he's been a friend to me through our conversations, through our mutual friendships, and through our service together with the Christian Evangelizing Association of Kansas, which of course plants new churches in the state of Kansas. During those meetings, Brad and I have served in different offices, and Brad has repeatedly shown his wisdom and thoughtfulness in our discussions and our decisions in those meetings. Well, as you all are aware, Brad understands and appreciates the meaning of friendship. when I experienced personal difficulty in recent years, especially this current year of 2020. He not only listened and understood my hurt and my grief, but also compassionately walked alongside me. For he understands that true friendship does not mean rewarding, does not mean removing the burden, but helping you carry your burden. The integrity of your character, Brad, is a model for us all, and 1 Corinthians 11:1, I believe, describes you well. Brad, I pray that God blesses you and your wife in your new transition to whatever opportunities God places before you. My wife and I pray God's grace to you always. Enjoy your retirement.
Okay, this is take one. We'll see how it goes. Hi, my name is Greg Montague. I'm the pastor of the Southwoods Christian Church in Overland Park, and I've known Brad for a number of years. We first met, if my memory serves me right, at the Kansas Ministers Retreat in Solomon, Kansas. It was many years ago. A lot of pastors from all over the state were there. And at the time, he was serving in a small church in Fontana, Kansas, Fontana Christian Church, as I recall. And I was just amazed. He'd been there almost 20 years at that point, and they were in a building program. They were doing some expansion. I was so impressed with Brad and his heart for people and the longevity of his ministry there, and just tremendous respect for Brad. Since that time, I've come to know him really, really well. I still have respect for him, and we've served together helping plant churches with the Christian Evangelizing Association of Kansas. He's been the president, he's been the vice president, he's been all kinds of different roles in that ministry over the years. Several years ago when he transitioned from the Fontana Church to Crossroads Church, I added him to my daily prayer list, primarily because he was going to be serving alongside Brad Fangman as closely as he was. A lot of us added him to our prayer list during that time. And so you could argue that this is the provision of God, retirement is. He's finally escaping that. No, Brad Fangman's a wonderful guy. And what I've most appreciated about Brad Fogo is his example. His example in faithfulness in ministry, his sincere love and concern for people. I love his humble, encouraging spirit, his sense of humor, his helpfulness. I mean, he'll do anything for anybody, and he'll do it all because he's a servant of God. Brad, you've just been a fantastic example to all of us. So grateful for that. And so as you retire, my prayer for you is that God will grant you the health and strength to continue advancing God's kingdom in whatever ways He leads you to do that in the days ahead. I know He will. Just trust that you'll be strong and healthy to be able to do that. Praying that you and Pam have some special time together, maybe trips, some experiences that will be meaningful to you guys together and your family. And my prayer is that God will bless you as you've been a blessing to so many others. I just love you, brother. Congratulations. Just looking forward to what God does in your lives in the days ahead. And praying for you, Crossroads, because I know He's got big shoes to fill. So bless you all. So that was take one. This is take two, and hopefully one of these will work for you, Mark, okay? Hi, I'm Greg Montague. I'm the pastor of the Southwoods Christian Church in Overland Park, Kansas. I've known Brad for a number of years. I think we first met, if my memory serves me right, at the Ministers Retreat in Solomon, Kansas, of all places. A lot of us were there, and at the time Brad was the minister at the Fontana Christian Church. He'd been there a number of years. I remember, if my memory serves me right, there'd been sort of a building campaign, expanding things. And I remember thinking, wow, he's been in this little community for all of these years, and God's just blessed. I was impressed with his faithfulness, his commitment to that local congregation. I knew God would be honored by that, and I was proud of him for that. Since then, I've come to know Brad really well. We've served together helping churches plant all over the state of Kansas with the Christian Evangelizing Association of Kansas. He's been president, he's been vice president. There's a bunch of other roles he's filled during that time, mostly just being helpful in whatever way is necessary. Several years ago, I added Brad to my personal daily prayer list when he transitioned from the Fontana Church to Crossroads Church. I knew the church was good, but I was concerned because Brad Fangman was there and so much time there. So, love Brad. Just had to get a little dig in. What I've most appreciated about Brad Fogo is this, his example of faithfulness in ministry, his sincere love and concern for people, his humble, encouraging spirit, his sense of humor, his willingness to serve and help anybody who has a need. You've just been an amazing example of Christ wherever you've gone, Brad. So proud of you for that, so thankful for you. And as you retire, my prayer for you is that God will grant you the health and strength to continue advancing His kingdom as He leads you in the days ahead. My prayer is that you'll have some special trips, some special time with Pam. May God bless you as you've blessed so many others. Love you, brother. Congratulations. Looking forward to what God's going to do in your life and through your life in the days ahead. Now this will be take 3.
Hey there everyone, Troy McMahon, lead pastor at Restore Community Church here in Kansas City. You know, it was over 40 years ago that I first met Brad Fogo, when myself and my older brothers and a bunch of friends would pile into 2 cars and we would go at a slightly elevated speed from Paola, Kansas to the metropolis of Fontana for youth group on Sunday night. And there we would meet with Brad Fogo. And Brad, after a day of preaching at the church and visiting families during the day, would come and lead a bunch of teenagers and disciple them to fall in love with Jesus. And I got to say, it was a few years later that Brad, in his infinite wisdom, decided, well, I'm going to be out of town with my wife and my daughter. Why don't I have a high school kid preach his very first message at my church? And so he invited me to preach at Fontana Christian Church. And I got to tell you, that message would have been mediocre to mediocre bad, but he gave me the opportunity. Now, I have to be honest with you. I never thought that I would do vocational ministry. But here I am after 25 years in ministry, and I look back and say that it was somebody like Brad Fogo who, after working all week at a metal bending company and then pastoring on Sunday morning at church and then leading youth group, could invest in the next generation to see God do immeasurably more than he could ask or imagine. Brad, thank you so much for your investment in myself, in the next generation, and in so many people. You have indeed left a legacy, and I am so grateful that you have finished well. Congratulations, my friend. We love you.
Hi, my name's Brad Kinnaman. I've known Brad and Pam Fogo for probably 26 years. We live in Paola, Kansas, and we were at the church when Brad was the pastor at Fontana. We want to congratulate Brad on his wonderful job as pastor and associate pastor. He's definitely a person that I think of often, and he's a very dear friend. I just want to tell him I appreciate his friendship and all the things that we've done together. I have one story I do want to tell. Brad, I don't know if he's still this way. He was a big Chevrolet person, and I, of course, drive Fords. He was always dogging on me about my Ford, telling me things about how they were so terrible. Till the one day Brad's Chevy truck broke down. So he called me up and asked if he could use my Ford truck and trailer to haul his truck home. I said absolutely. It brought me great joy to let Brad use my truck and trailer. I want to tell Brad and Pam, thank you so much for their friendship, although I haven't seen them for a long time. I think very dearly of both of them, and Christy and Chris and their grandchildren, and just want to congratulate them and thank them for all that they have done for us and the special relationship we've had with them. Love you guys and want to tell you how much you mean to us. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Kevin Meyer. I've been attending Crossroads since 2001 now. Over the years, I've been involved in a lot of different ministries. Eventually, though, I felt God's calling and I kind of focused my time and attention in pastoral care and small group ministry. In fact, I was actually asked to lead the small group ministry for several years. About 2008, Principal Fangman called me in and essentially fired me. Not because of anything I did. It was because there was some new guy by the name of Fogo that was going to be coming to Crossroads, and he was going to be overseeing pastoral care and small groups. So the first time I got to meet Brad Fogo, we met for a breakfast at First Watch, which has actually become a tradition for us. And I'll tell you what, I knew the minute I met Brad that we were going to become very, very good friends. And over the years we've become very, very close. We worked together through small groups. I kind of handed the reins of all that over to him. We also worked together side by side in pastoral care. In fact, in 2010, Brad and I went to St. Louis together and attended a leadership conference for Stephen Ministry, which is still a very active and vibrant ministry in our church. One of the things I can say about Brad is, as I said, when I first met him, I knew we were going to be friends. But over the years, I've spent enough time with him that he's much more than a friend. He's a coach. He's a mentor. He's compassionate. He's caring. I don't know that I've ever met a man with a heart as big as his. And besides my friendship, I know Brad has touched the lives of literally thousands of people and changed their lives because of it. Our church has been blessed for years to have Brad with us, and he's going to be sorely missed on a full-time basis. But Brad's not going anywhere. His ministry will always continue wherever he goes. So Brad, I want to wish you a very, very happy retirement. I know you're going to have a great time. You and Pam will have a great time enjoying yourselves, your grandkids, your kids in your home. I wish you all the best. I love you, brother.
Shout out to my man, Brad Fogo. I've known Brad since he joined the team there at Crossroads Christian Church back in 2007 when I was on staff as youth pastor and had the office next door. Spent a lot of good times with Brad, but my favorite memory had to be the time that he and Pam invited Megan and I over with our firstborn Titus, and I was so proud of our little guy and was saying, oh look, he holds his head up so well. And Brad had made steaks for us that night, and Titus, right after I said he had held his head up well, just put his face right into the steak because he just couldn't hold it up any longer. And so I teased Brad for being the first guy to feed my kids steak. So but just loved every memory. So proud of your work, and excited for what's next for you and Pam, getting to see grandkiddos and continue to do that great kingdom work, the outside looking in. But we love our Crossroads family, and thank you all for celebrating Brad today and letting me be a part of it. Love you guys.
Hey, this is Jeff Palmer. I first met Brad Fogo probably about 8 years ago. Whenever I came to Crossroads as the worship pastor. And I just remember Brad being someone that was extremely hospitable, just overly kind, and just he's kind of like the grandpa that everybody wished that they'd had a bad grandpa, I guess. But no, Brad is just he's always been a great inspiration to me. His integrity, his wisdom. Just his meekness has always been something that's really impressed upon me as really godly characters. One of the actually, I thought of a couple of things that were always something that struck me as comical, I guess, and funny about Brad. One of those was as we would sit into staff meetings on Tuesday mornings. Often Brad would have spent the weekend doing a lot of pastoral care calls, and I would say on occasion those meetings would get a little boring. And I'd look over at Brad, and he'd have his eyelids would be open, but his eyeballs would be completely white. His eyes had just rolled back in the back of his head, and on occasion a loud noise or something, he'd wake up and join the conversation. But I always thought that was really funny. Another thing was seeing Brad on occasion walk through the office with a lollipop in his mouth, and I just thought that was the funniest thing. It was almost like a little kid that had just done really well getting his hair cut, and he got a lollipop at the barber. But he was always have a lollipop in his mouth, and just a really fun guy to be around always, and just always portrayed just wonderful characteristics of Christ to me. Just a huge, again, inspiration. So I just want to say congratulations, Brad, on your retirement. I know that you're technically going to be retired, but God has a lot of plans still left for you. You have a heart for Him. You have a spirit that is just always seeking to follow Him and follow His will for your life. And He's going to put you on task somewhere else. So congratulations.
Whoever's watching, so that's all you have to do.
Ready? Hi, my name is Rick Sprick. Me and my family moved down here from Nebraska in 1992 and lived in Kansas City, Kansas, as I took a job with Kansas City, Kansas Community College, teaching mortuary science there, which some of you probably know. But another longer story, we moved down to the Lenexa area in 2001. And instead of taking 435 up to Kansas City, Kansas, because of all the traffic on the interstate, I decided to take the back roads, and that took me right by Crossroads, up Renner and down to Holiday and then Turner and then all the way around. And I just kept getting pulled in the church. I hadn't been to church for a while, got a little confused in the past, but just felt like I was being pulled in there. And so one Friday, which I usually wasn't going by there on a Friday, I called the number on the sign back in the day where some of you probably remember. It was a vinyl sign with a couple of T-posts out there holding it up and the wind up here on the hill. And I called the number one day, and the gentleman that answered the phone introduced himself as Brad Fogo. I started asking some questions about the faith-based church that's here, what kind of denomination it was, non-denominational. Started asking some questions, and he said, Rick, you got some good questions, and tomorrow, Saturday, we're going to have a closer look class where we should probably answer most of your questions that you have, and you're invited. It's from 9 to 1, and we'll serve pizza. And I thought about it, and I had an opportunity to go crappie fishing with some friends at Lake Rivera that Saturday morning. I don't even remember praying about it. I just chose to go to the closer look class because I was searching. I've never regretted it. In fact, I encourage anybody who's ever attended here, member or not, no matter how long you've been here or not, attend that class. You will find out things about the church that you really want to know. It was very enjoyable. I was grateful to meet Brad. Over the course of the years here lately, Brad and I go to lunch every 3 or 4 weeks, talk about just things in general, and at one time the grounds ministry team, and just about the church. And I just really enjoyed his friendship, getting to know him over the years. And Brad, you've become a good friend, and I appreciate you very much and love you as a brother in Christ. I often wonder if the other Brad would have answered the phone, what would have happened?